The galaxy had always laughed at humanity. To the other civilizations, humans were a small, primitive species, clinging to a blue planet in a quiet corner of the Milky Way. Their ships were tiny, their technology rudimentary, and their ways quaint. Commander Selene Armitage stood on the bridge of the HMS Pioneer, her hands resting lightly on the console. Around her, the crew moved with quiet efficiency, every action deliberate and precise. The ship itself was modest by galactic standards. Its sleek design could never compete with the massive dreadnoughts of the Andralian fleet or the crystalline warships of the Vethari. Yet, Selene felt no fear. "Status report," she said, her voice calm. Lieutenant Ramon Vega, the ship's tactical officer, looked up from the holographic display. "All systems operational, Commander. Navigation stable. Stealth field active." Selene nodded. Stealth was not new technology, but humans had refined it in ways the galaxy would never expect. The Pioneer could slip past sensors that could detect ships thousands of light years away. To anyone who judged only by size and firepower, it was nothing more than a floating tin can. And that was the advantage. Their mission was simple, or at least it appeared simple. A routine diplomatic delegation to the Drelthic cluster, a region controlled by a coalition of alien civilizations. The coalition prided itself on its order, its control, and its superiority. They were arrogant, dismissive, and dangerously confident. "Earth sends a delegation," one of the alien monitors had said in a broadcast. "A ship no larger than a cargo pod. How amusing." "Amusing," Selene repeated quietly, almost to herself. She allowed a small smile to form. The galaxy had underestimated humanity for centuries. That would change. The Pioneer dropped out of hyperspace near the Drelthic cluster's central system. Stars shimmered around them, massive gas giants and asteroid fields stretching into the void. Alien warships, enormous and glittering with weapon arrays, patrolled the space around the cluster. Every ship was a masterpiece of alien engineering, designed to intimidate, designed to dominate. Yet none of them paid much attention to the small human vessel slipping silently among the giants. "Scanning for docking clearance," Vega said. Selene watched the holographic interface light up. The Drelthic command station appeared ahead, a floating ring of metal and light. Its surface was covered with docking ports, shield generators, and weapon turrets. To the aliens, the station was the symbol of their absolute control. To Selene, it was just another puzzle waiting to be solved. The Pioneer approached carefully, the crew executing the standard protocols while concealing the advanced modifications hidden beneath the ship's hull. Human technology was unassuming but precise. Every system had redundancies, every sensor had a backup, every shield had a hidden reinforcement. "Docking clearance denied," the station announced in a cold, mechanical voice. "Your vessel is unregistered and unrecognized. Leave immediately." Selene's smile widened. "They still don't believe we belong here," she said. Vega chuckled softly. "That's the advantage, Commander. They think we're insignificant. They won't notice until it's too late." The communications officer, Ensign Lyra Chen, adjusted her console. "They're broadcasting again. This time it's mockery, calling our ship a floating relic of pre-space age Earth." Selene shook her head. "Let them mock. We know what we can do." The delegation was meant to be peaceful, yet Selene understood that diplomacy in the galaxy often came with hidden challenges. The coalition would test humanity, trying to provoke mistakes, to see if humans were truly as weak as they believed. "Open a channel," Selene ordered. "Let's see how eager they are to lecture us." The bridge filled with static as the alien commander's face appeared on the screen. Tall, angular, with eyes like molten silver, the alien's expression was full of disdain. "Humans," the commander said, voice sharp and echoing. "You dare approach our cluster with such primitive technology. You claim to be explorers, yet your ships are laughable." Leave this system before your incompetence embarrasses you further. Seleni's voice was calm but firm. Commander, we come in peace. We seek dialogue and mutual understanding. We mean no offense. The alien scoffed. Peace? With humans, you are children playing at warships. You have no power here. You are insignificant. Selene allowed a pause, letting the words settle. Then she said, softly but clearly, insignificant for now. The alien's eyes narrowed. Do you threaten me? No, Selene replied. We simply observe. And sometimes what is small and overlooked can change everything. The alien dismissed her with a wave. Do not test my patience. Leave now or face consequences. The channel closed. Vega turned to Selene. They really don't get it, do they? They never do, she said. That's why we'll always have the advantage. The crew of the Pioneer went about their tasks with quiet determination. Engineers checked power conduits, scientists monitored energy fields, and communications specialists intercepted alien transmissions. Everything seemed routine, yet every human on board knew they were part of something larger, something that the galaxy would never see coming. Hours passed. The aliens continued their posturing, flaunting their fleets, displaying their strength and mocking the small human vessel. And yet the humans were calm, working in silence. Selene walked along the bridge, watching her crew. They were young, untested in galactic terms, yet their minds were sharp. They understood human creativity in ways the aliens could not imagine. Commander, Lyra said, pointing to a holographic readout, I'm picking up fluctuations in the energy lattice surrounding the cluster. It's unstable. Selene's eyes lit up. Unstable, you say? Interesting. The alien coalition had relied on the lattice for control, massive energy currents that powered fleets, weapons, and shields. They assumed humans were too primitive to even understand its complexity. That assumption would soon be their greatest mistake. Selene turned to Vega. Prepare a detailed analysis. We may have stumbled upon something the galaxy itself underestimates. Vega nodded. Already on it, Commander. The humans continued their work, unnoticed by the aliens. Yet with every calculation, every adjustment, and every observation, they were setting the stage for a revelation that would shock the entire galaxy. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy would see that humanity was not weak, not small, not insignificant. They had mocked humans, laughed at their tiny ships, and dismissed their presence. But Selene and her crew knew the truth. Sometimes, the smallest vessel carries the greatest power, and the HMS Pioneer was about to prove it. The stars outside the viewport twinkled cold and distant, but inside the ship, determination burned bright. Humanity had been underestimated for too long, and the galaxy would soon learn that what it saw as fragile was, in fact, formidable. Selene glanced at her crew one last time before returning to her command console. We're ready, she said. The mockery of the galaxy would not last forever. And humanity, quiet, clever, and relentless, was ready to show what it could do. The HMS Pioneer drifted silently near the heart of the Drelthic cluster, invisible to most alien sensors. Its crew moved with quiet determination, each member aware that the galaxy was watching and mocking from just beyond their reach. Commander Selene Armitage stood at the helm, eyes scanning the holographic displays. The energy lattice surrounding the cluster pulsed with raw power, streams of bright energy weaving between stars like living threads. The aliens had built their empire on it. It was their secret, their tool, and their weapon. Commander, Ensign Lyra Chen said, pointing to the holographic lattice, the fluctuations are increasing. It's unstable. If left unchecked, well, I'm not sure any species could survive it. Selene leaned closer, tracing the glowing lines with her fingers. Interesting, she murmured. This is bigger than we thought. It isn't just power distribution, it's a network, and it has rules, patterns we can predict. Vega raised an eyebrow. You're saying we can control it? Not yet, Selene replied, but we can understand it. And understanding is the first step to mastery. The crew of the Pioneer worked like a single organism. The engineers monitored the ship's systems, ensuring that the delicate instruments could survive near such intense energy. The scientists studied the lattice, mapping its currents and decoding its complex rhythm. The communications team intercepted alien signals, noting how the coalition maintained control through the lattice. The aliens believed themselves untouchable. They had built massive warships, fortified planets, and fleets that could destroy entire solar systems. Yet they had overlooked one thing: human adaptability. "What are you thinking, Commander?" Vega asked. Selene smiled faintly. "I'm thinking they've made a critical mistake. They assume size and power are everything. But in every system, every species, every network, there is always a way to turn arrogance against itself. We just have to find it." Hours passed. The Pioneer's sensors picked up more fluctuations, and the crew worked tirelessly to model them. Slowly, patterns began to emerge. The lattice wasn't chaotic, it was deliberate, a complex system designed to maximize control while minimizing human intervention. It was impressive. But it was also fragile. Lyra's voice broke the silence. "Commander, I think I've found it. There's a weak point here in the lattice's core. If we can access it, we might be able to redirect the flow." Selene's eyes narrowed. "Redirect, not destroy, carefully. We need to test it without alarming the aliens." Vega leaned over the console. "You're talking about controlling an entire galaxy-spanning energy lattice with one ship." "Yes," Selene said firmly. "One clever ship. One crew who doesn't underestimate themselves." The next step was careful observation. The Pioneer sent small, invisible probes into the lattice, mapping the energy currents with unprecedented precision. The probes were so advanced that the aliens' monitoring systems never noticed them. Meanwhile, the coalition grew restless. Their sensors had begun to detect the human ship lingering in the cluster. Alien commanders exchanged messages, each one dripping with disdain. "Another human attempt at intrusion," one alien said. "How bold and how foolish." "They cannot possibly understand the lattice," another replied. "They are children playing with forces beyond their comprehension." The humans, of course, did understand. Every calculation, every adjustment, every careful probe brought them closer to the truth. The lattice was powerful, yes, but it was also predictable. It had weaknesses that size and firepower could not hide. Selene gathered her officers in the command room. The holographic lattice floated above the table, lines of energy flowing between stars like glowing rivers. "This lattice," she said, pointing to the core, "is the heart of the coalition's power. If we can interact with it correctly, we could influence their fleets, their shields, even their weapons systems, not by attack but by manipulation." Vega's eyes widened. "You mean we could neutralize their fleets without firing a shot?" "Exactly," Selene said. "We can show them that intelligence beats size, that cleverness beats brute force." The crew exchanged glances, excitement mixed with tension. The Pioneer was small, the humans were outnumbered, and yet they were poised to do what no one thought possible. For the next few days, the Pioneer moved silently through the cluster. The humans tested their theory, using subtle signals to interact with the lattice. Alien ships nearby moved slightly, their systems reacting in ways that suggested something unseen was influencing them. The coalition began to notice. They convened a council of commanders, each one more massive and intimidating than the last. "Humans," the lead commander said, "what are you doing in our cluster? You cannot comprehend the forces you tamper with." Selene responded calmly, projecting her voice across the secure channel. "We are learning, observation first, understanding always, and once we understand, we act responsibly." The alien scoffed. "Responsible? You are a child trying to play with a storm. Leave before you cause accidents." But the humans did not leave. They continued to study the lattice, every move careful, every action deliberate. They knew that patience was their ally. The aliens, blinded by pride, made mistakes. Systems overloaded, fleets shifted at the wrong time, and communication networks experienced strange, unexplainable delays. All thanks to human ingenuity, Lyra whispered, watching the displays. They have no idea we're manipulating the flow. It's like watching a giant play chess against someone smaller and losing without realizing it. Selene nodded. Exactly, and that is the advantage of being underestimated. Then came the breakthrough. Vega leaned over the console, pointing at a series of patterns in the lattice. Commander, look, there's a resonance point here. If we synchronize with it, Selene's eyes shone. Yes, we could interact with the lattice at the core level. Minimal effort, maximum effect. And the best part, the aliens won't even know it's happening until it's too late. The next phase required precision. The Pioneer had to enter a critical area near the lattice core, a zone where energy flows were most unstable. Even small miscalculations could have consequences, but Selene trusted her crew implicitly. As the ship glided closer, the stars outside seemed to shimmer with the intensity of the lattice's energy. The crew worked in silent coordination, their nerves steady, their minds sharp. Core systems aligned, Vega reported. Ready for interaction. Selene took a deep breath. Proceed. The ship emitted a subtle pulse, almost imperceptible. The lattice responded, its currents adjusting, stabilizing, and then shifting in ways that seemed impossible. Alien fleets nearby suddenly halted, weapons systems frozen, shields fluctuating. Chaos without violence. The humans had done it. They had affected the galaxy-spanning network with nothing more than intellect, precision, and timing. From the alien perspective, nothing made sense. Their fleets, their massive warships, their advanced weapons, none of it behaved as expected. Panic rippled through command centers. Impossible, one commander shouted. How, humans? Selene observed the chaos quietly. She allowed a small smile. The first step had succeeded. They had proven that intelligence, not size, could control the flow of the galaxy itself. This is only the beginning, she said. We have shown them that humanity is not weak, but the real challenge lies ahead. We must remain careful, precise, and patient. One wrong move and the lattice could become unstable. Lyra nodded. It's incredible, Commander. We're actually doing it. We're showing them, without firing a single shot, that humans are not to be underestimated. Selene turned to the viewport, gazing at the stars. The galaxy seemed vast, cold, and indifferent. Yet within that indifference, humans had carved a space for ingenuity, creativity, and resilience. They mocked us, Selene said quietly. They thought we were small, insignificant, and weak. But they've never seen what humans can do when they are underestimated. The Pioneer continued to drift through the cluster, silent and invisible, carrying with it the first whispers of a new truth, that the galaxy's arrogance was its greatest weakness, and that humans, clever and relentless, were ready to exploit it. Selene allowed herself a small, private thought. The galaxy would soon learn that size does not equal power, and that even one human warship could change the course of the stars. And for the first time, she felt the thrill of being at the center of something truly extraordinary. The HMS Pioneer moved like a shadow through the Drelthic cluster, invisible to all but the most sophisticated alien sensors. The lattice pulsed around them, its energy weaving across star systems like a river of light. The humans had studied it, predicted its flows, and now they were ready to act. Commander Selene Armitage stood at the helm, eyes sharp, every thought focused. Around her, the crew worked with quiet intensity. The next step required precision, patience, and nerve. A single miscalculation could unravel everything. Commander, Lieutenant Vega said, glancing at the displays, the lattice is responding perfectly. Our pulse from earlier has already begun to ripple across nearby fleets. They don't know what's happening. Good, Selene replied. That means they still think they're in control. Let's keep it that way for now. The less they realize, the more effective our next move will be. The aliens, as predicted, were panicking. Ships that once moved with flawless precision now faltered. Weapons systems blinked offline at random, and shields fluctuated in ways no engineer could explain. Commanders sent frantic messages demanding answers, but nothing could be fixed. "They don't understand," Lyra said, her voice full of awe. "We're invisible to them. They can't even see the connection yet." Selene nodded. "And that is exactly how we win. Not by force, but by intelligence. They are playing checkers while we play chess." The Pioneer approached the lattice's core, the point of maximum influence. From here, humans could affect the flow across the entire cluster. Every fleet, every warship, every energy conduit would respond to their input, but only in ways that neutralized threats. Nothing would be destroyed, nothing would be harmed. "Preparing final synchronization," Vega said. "All systems nominal." Selene took a deep breath. "Do it." The ship emitted a subtle harmonic pulse, a wave of energy tuned to the lattice's unique frequency. Across the cluster, alien ships halted mid-flight. Energy weapons froze, engines powered down, and shields flickered unpredictably. Command stations erupted in confusion. "What is happening?" a Drelthic commander shouted. "Our systems, they are failing." "No," another whispered. "It's controlled, but by whom?" The humans observed silently. Each pulse, each adjustment was carefully calculated. They had predicted the reaction of every fleet, every weapon system, and every defensive measure. The aliens were effectively immobilized, caught in a web they did not understand. "Commander," Lyra said, pointing at the holographic display, "we're affecting the entire cluster. Every ship is responding, not violently, just perfectly controlled." Selene allowed herself a small smile. "This is the beauty of human ingenuity. We don't destroy, we guide, we influence, and the galaxy will remember the lesson." Alien leaders convened an emergency council. Massive ships loomed above the cluster's central star, their commanders desperate and angry. They sent fleets to intercept the Pioneer, thinking brute force could fix the problem. But human strategy was already ahead. Every move the aliens made was anticipated. Their ships slowed, stalled, and even collided with one another in harmless but humiliating ways. Every plan they conceived had already been countered before it began. Vega shook his head, astonished. "They're so confident. They think strength solves everything." "But they're failing without even touching us." Selene nodded. "Arrogance is a powerful weakness. We just need to exploit it, and we are." Across the galaxy, fleets of massive alien warships remained immobilized. Planets that had been under strict control experienced sudden freedom of movement. Alien communication networks were subtly rerouted, isolating commanders from their subordinates. Chaos reigned, but without a single life lost. "This is incredible," Lyra whispered. "We're proving humans can outthink the galaxy itself." "Exactly," Selene said. "They mocked our size, our ships, our simplicity. Yet here we are, controlling the cluster with nothing but cleverness." Hours passed as the Pioneer continued its precise manipulations. The aliens were desperate now, trying everything in their knowledge, every tactic they had ever used. But humans had anticipated it all. Every signal they sent, every maneuver they attempted, was countered by invisible, elegant calculations flowing from the small ship. "They'll realize soon," Vega said cautiously. "This isn't a temporary effect. We're showing them we can control everything they think is theirs." Selene's eyes narrowed. "Let them realize. Let them see that underestimation was their greatest mistake." Finally, the moment came. The lattice, stabilized by human input, pulsed once more. Across the cluster, alien ships powered up, only to find themselves harmlessly guided into non-threatening formations. Weapons were disabled, but no one was harmed. Strategic planets were left untouched. The humans had achieved perfection, total control without violence. The alien coalition was in shock. Their fleets, their technology, their empire, All were outmaneuvered by a single human warship. The humiliation was complete. One commander banged his fist against the console. "How is this possible? They are nothing. We are thousands of years ahead, and yet, another said quietly, they are winning, without firing a shot." Selene watched the display, her calm composure masking the pride she felt. The galaxy had laughed at humanity for centuries. They had mocked humans for being small, slow, and insignificant. And yet, with careful thought, precise execution, and relentless ingenuity, humanity had proven that intelligence could surpass even the greatest power. The Pioneers' crew allowed themselves a moment of satisfaction. They had done more than neutralize a fleet or protect a planet. They had changed the perception of an entire galaxy. Humanity was no longer a curiosity to be laughed at. Humans were clever, patient, and capable of brilliance that the galaxy could not ignore. Selene turned to Vega and Lyra. "Prepare a message," she said. "One clear statement of human intent. We don't destroy. We don't conquer. We simply demonstrate what humans can do. Let the galaxy see it." Lyra typed quickly, transmitting a simple message across the Coalition's networks. "We are not insignificant. We are not weak. Underestimation is your greatest mistake. Respect and collaboration, not fear and mockery, will define the next era." The message was short, direct, and impossible to ignore. Across alien command centers, it sparked confusion, awe, and a reluctant respect. For the first time, the galaxy saw humans as something other than a primitive species. "They'll need time," Vega said. "Time to process what we just showed them." "Yes," Selene said quietly, "and by then the lesson will be permanent. Humanity is clever, adaptable, and relentless. Never forget that." The crew allowed themselves a rare moment of celebration. Lyra smiled, Vega leaned back in his chair, and even Selene allowed a brief, satisfied sigh. They had faced the galaxy's greatest arrogance and won, not with weapons, not with force, but with intelligence, patience, and courage. Outside the viewport, the stars continued to shine coldly, indifferent to the triumph within the cluster. Yet within the small human vessel, pride and determination burned brightly. Humanity had shown its first true proof that one ship, one crew, and one species could outthink and outmaneuver the galaxy itself. Selene knew the challenge was not over. The galaxy would recover and new threats would arise. But for now, humans had turned the tide. One small ship had made an impact no one had expected, and the galaxy would never underestimate humanity again. The galaxy was quiet, but it was a new kind of quiet. The fleets that had once moved with ruthless precision now drifted in formationless peace, still guided by the subtle influence of the HMS Pioneer. Command centers across the Drelthic cluster buzzed with confusion, awe, and something new: respect. Commander Selene Armitage stood on the bridge, her eyes scanning the holographic displays of the alien fleets. The lattice pulsed softly, its energy calm and balanced. The humans had done more than just neutralize the fleets. They had proven that intelligence, patience, and cleverness could triumph over arrogance. Lieutenant Vega broke the silence. "Commander there," responding. Across the cluster, alien commanders are requesting communication. They want to meet to talk. They want guidance. Selene allowed a small smile. "Exactly what I expected. They are finally realizing that the galaxy underestimates us." Ensign Lyra Chen looked amazed. "They actually respect us now after everything." Selene nodded. "Not respect because of power or weapons," she said. "Respect because of ingenuity, calm, and careful thought. That is the kind of respect humans earn." The Pioneer moved toward the center of the cluster, sending secure messages to each alien command station. The tone was firm but polite, clear yet humble. Humanity did not seek dominance. They sought understanding. "We have no desire to destroy, no wish to conquer. We have only shown that intelligence, patience, and cleverness are forces the galaxy should never underestimate. Let us work together in collaboration to build a better future." One by one, alien commanders responded. Messages of gratitude, curiosity, and cautious admiration flowed in. The galaxy that had once laughed at humanity now sought its guidance. They wanted to learn, to collaborate, and perhaps most importantly, to respect. Vega shook his head in disbelief. It's incredible. They actually trust us. Selene smiled faintly. They don't trust blindly, but they understand, and understanding is far more powerful than fear. The humans began meetings with representatives of the coalition. Each session was a lesson in diplomacy, innovation, and humility. The aliens, once so arrogant, listened carefully as humans shared insights about the lattice, about problem-solving, and about thinking creatively. Your species, one alien commander admitted, is unlike any we have seen. You act not with brute force but with cunning, strategy, and precision. It is remarkable. Selene responded calmly. That is human nature. We adapt, we innovate, and we persevere. Mockery and underestimation have always been our allies because they push us to find solutions others overlook. Across the galaxy, news of humanity's achievement spread. Scholars debated it, fleet commanders studied it, and ordinary citizens of countless planets began to whisper, humans are different. Humans are clever. Humans are remarkable. In the days that followed, the HMS Pioneer became a symbol, not of power, not of war, but of ingenuity. Alien fleets once feared now sought collaboration. Planets that had been under strict control reached out for trade, technology sharing, and cooperative exploration. Selene observed the changes quietly. The galaxy will never be the same, she said. They have learned that humans are to be respected, not underestimated, and this is only the beginning. Vega looked at her. Do you think they'll ever stop underestimating us? Selene laughed softly. Maybe someday, but for now, let them learn. Every species, every fleet, every planet will remember that one small human ship changed everything. That is the power of being clever, patient, and relentless. Lyra added, it's amazing. We didn't fire a shot, yet we've reshaped the galaxy. Humanity really can do anything. Yes, Selene said, but let's not be complacent. This is a step, not the final stage. The galaxy will continue to evolve, and so must we. But we have proven something vital. Humanity can rise above underestimation, arrogance, and fear. The crew continued their work, balancing diplomacy, exploration, and observation. Each day brought new challenges, but the humans approached them with the same ingenuity that had guided them so far. They understood that their strength lay not in weapons or fleets, but in thought, creativity, and unity. Across the galaxy, a new era began. Alien civilizations started to collaborate more openly, inspired by human strategy and ethical leadership. Conflicts that had seemed inevitable were now approached with logic, compromise, and clever solutions. The galaxy had learned a lesson that would last for generations. Intelligence and adaptability are more powerful than sheer force. Selene allowed herself a quiet moment of reflection. She gazed at the stars beyond the viewport, each one a reminder of the vast possibilities that lay ahead. Humanity had stepped into the galactic stage, not as conquerors, not as aggressors, but as problem solvers, innovators, and pioneers. The HMS Pioneer was no longer just a ship, it was a symbol of human ingenuity, resilience, and the power of being underestimated. Selene turned to her crew. We've done more than survive. We've shown the galaxy what humans can do. Let's continue to prove it. Vega grinned. I think they finally understand that mocking us was their biggest mistake. Selene nodded. And they will never forget it. In the coming weeks, the humans worked closely with alien engineers, diplomats, and scientists. Ideas were exchanged, technologies shared, and alliances formed. Humans guided without domination, advised without arrogance, and taught without condescension. Their subtle influence shaped the galaxy into a place of collaboration and innovation. For the first time in centuries, Humans were not just another species in the galaxy. They were recognized as clever, capable, and remarkable. The species that had been mocked for so long had proven that underestimation could be turned into opportunity, and that intelligence and ingenuity could triumph over arrogance. Selene reflected on the journey. From the small, unassuming ship that had entered the Drelthic cluster to the respected presence that now commanded attention across star systems, humanity had changed the course of the galaxy. "They mocked us," she said quietly, thinking of the alien commanders who had laughed at the human ship. "They laughed at our size, our ships, our planet. But one human crew, one small vessel, has shown them that intelligence, patience, and creativity are more powerful than anything they could have imagined." Vega smiled. "They'll tell stories about this for generations." "Yes," Selene said. "And those stories will carry a lesson. Never underestimate humanity. We do more than survive. We adapt, we learn, and we rise above every challenge. And one day, we may rise above the galaxy itself." The HMS Pioneer continued its journey through the stars, a quiet, small vessel carrying a crew of humans who had reshaped the galaxy. They had not destroyed civilizations or taken worlds by force. They had done something far greater. They had changed perception, inspired respect, and proven that humanity's true power lay in its ingenuity. The galaxy had laughed at humans once, but now it would never laugh again. And in the quiet hum of the Pioneer, Selene Armitage allowed herself one last thought. Humanity had proven itself. The universe was vast, full of challenges and full of mysteries, but humans, clever and relentless, were ready for all of it. The stars stretched endlessly before them, and for the first time, the humans looked at the galaxy not as a place to fear, but as a canvas waiting to be explored. Humanity had stepped forward, and the galaxy had no choice but to respect it.